At 82, I have learned many things about life, but there is one decision I deeply regret: moving into a nursing home. At the time, it seemed like the right choice. My family encouraged it, assuring me I would receive all the care and comfort I needed. I trusted them, but once I arrived, I saw the reality was far from what I expected. I know many of you may be thinking about this option, whether for yourself or a loved one. Maybe it feels like the safest path, or perhaps someone told you it will make life easier. But before taking that step, I want to share 6 things I wish someone had told me before I moved in. Because the truth is, living in a nursing home is not just about convenience. It changes everything. And once you are inside, leaving is not as simple as you might think. Stay with me until the end, because some of these lessons could surprise you. And if you know someone thinking about a nursing home, this video might be exactly what they need to hear before making such an important decision. Now, let us get started. Regret number 1: losing my independence. The biggest shock after moving into the nursing home was not the small room, the set meal times, or even the unfamiliar faces. It was the sudden realization that I no longer controlled my own life. Before moving in, I had my routines. I decided when to wake up, when to eat, and how to spend my day. I could take a walk anytime I wanted, cook my own meals, or just sit quietly in my favorite chair with a book. But inside the nursing home, I quickly realized my time was no longer mine. Everything followed a schedule that was not mine. Breakfast was served at a fixed time, even if I was not hungry. Lights went out at a set hour, whether I was ready or not. If you want to take a walk outside, you might need permission, and probably have to wait until someone is free to help you. Simple choices like what to eat or what to wear started feeling like privileges instead of everyday decisions. I remember my first week there, waking up in a bed that did not feel like mine. I sat up, stretched, and reached for the book I had been reading at home. But looking around the room, it hit me. This was not my home. My books, my favorite chair, the small comforts I had collected over years, all gone. In their place were sterile walls, a bed I did not choose, and a feeling I could not shake. I was no longer in charge of my own life. The hardest part was realizing that once you give up your independence, getting it back is nearly impossible. You adapt because you must. You stop arguing when they tell you what is for dinner. You stop asking if you can take a walk whenever you want. You learn to fit their system, but in the process, you begin to lose yourself. If you are thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the small freedoms that make life yours? Because once they are gone, you will miss them more than you ever expected. Regret number 2: feeling forgotten. One of the hardest realities about moving into a nursing home is realizing that the world outside keeps moving without you. When I first arrived, my family promised they would visit regularly. I trusted them, and at first they did. My daughter came once a week, my grandchildren visited on weekends, and for a short time it felt like I still had a link to my old life. But as months passed, visits became less frequent. My daughter started calling instead of visiting. My grandchildren got busy with school and work. Holidays were the toughest. Everyone said they would come, but plans changed at the last minute. Suddenly, I found myself sitting alone in a common room, watching other residents staring at the door, hoping today would be the day someone remembered them. It was not that my family stopped loving me. Life just got in the way. When you are not there every day, it is easy for people to assume that you are fine, that you are adjusting, that you do not need as much attention. But the truth is, the longer you stay in a nursing home, the easier it is for people to forget how much you still need them. I remember one evening sitting in my room, holding my phone, debating whether to call my son. I did not want to be a burden. I did not want to remind him that I was here, waiting for a visit that might never come. So I put the phone down, and that is when it hit me. This was my life now, watching the days go by, hoping someone would remember to include me. If you are thinking about moving into a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready for the loneliness? Because no matter how much your family loves you, once you are out of sight, it is easier than you think to become out of mind. If you are still watching this video and find these ideas useful, please comment number 2 below. to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I suggest subscribing and turning on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Now, let us move on. Regret number 3, losing my sense of purpose. When I moved into the nursing home, I thought I was you, just changing where I lived. I did not realize I was also changing why I lived. At home, I had responsibilities, routines, hobbies, and reasons to get up in the morning. Even small things like watering plants, making my own coffee, or tidying my space gave me a sense of purpose. But in the nursing home, those daily rituals disappeared. Meals were prepared for me, cleaning was done by someone else. And the plants, well, they were no longer mine to care for. At first, I told myself it would be nice to finally rest. No more chores, no more duties, just peace. But after a few weeks, I realized something was missing. The days felt long, stretched out, with nothing to do but wait. I saw it in other residents too. People who had once been full of energy now spent their days sitting quietly, waiting for time to pass. There was a man named George, 84 years old, who had been a carpenter his whole life. At home, he was always fixing things, building small projects in his garage. Effort feels easy at first, but once you slow down, getting back on your feet is not as simple as you might expect. If you are still watching this video and find these ideas helpful, please comment number 4 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I suggest subscribing and turning on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Your support allows us to keep making quality content to inform and inspire you. Now let us continue. Regret 5, the loss of privacy and dignity. One thing I did not fully think about before moving in was this. There were no tools, no projects, nothing for him to work on. I watched as he slowly folded his hands, once strong and skilled, now resting quietly in his lap. I feel useless, he told me one day, and I understood exactly what he meant. When you have nothing to care for, no goal to work toward, life begins to lose meaning. The mind slows down, the body follows, and before long you start to feel like just another resident in a place where time passes but nothing really changes. If you are thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself what gives your life meaning. Because once you move in, finding purpose is not just about filling time. It is about fighting to keep hold of the things that make you feel alive. Regret 4, health declining faster than expected. Before moving into a nursing home, I was doing well. For my age, I was not running marathons, but I could still care for myself, go for walks and cook my meals. I had my routines that kept me active. Grocery shopping, morning stretches, even walking around the house to keep my legs strong. But after I moved, everything changed. At first it felt like I was just resting. Meals were brought to me. I no longer had to stand in the kitchen to cook. If I needed anything, I could just press a button, and someone would help. What I did not realize was that the less I did for myself, the weaker I became. I stopped moving as much, and soon my legs felt stiff. I sat more than before, and long standing up from a chair became difficult. The muscles I had worked to keep strong were fading faster than I ever expected. And it was not just me. I saw this happen to others as well. People who walked in on their own suddenly needed wheelchairs. Those who had once been independent needed help with tasks they never had trouble with before. The more help we received, the more we seemed to need it. I remember my neighbor. Alice is an 81-year-old woman who was lively when she first arrived. She used to take daily walks around the facility and insisted she would not slow down just because of her age. But after a few months, I noticed she was not walking as much. Then she started using a walker, and later a wheelchair. One day she looked at me and said, "I do not know when it happened, but I feel like I aged 10 years in just a few months." And that is exactly how it felt. When you stop using your body, you begin to lose it. In a nursing home where everything is made to make life easier, it is easy to forget that moving is not just about comfort. It is about staying alive. If I had known how fast I would lose my strength, I would have fought harder to keep moving, to stay active and to push myself even when I did not feel like it. If you are thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, will you still have the drive to keep your body strong when everything around You is set up to make life easy. One thing I did not expect about moving to a nursing home was how much privacy I would lose. At home, I had my own space. I could close my bedroom door, sit quietly if I wanted, and do things on my own terms. But in a nursing home, privacy is a luxury you cannot always have. From the moment I arrived, I felt like I was being watched all the time. Staff coming in and out, scheduled room checks, and shared areas where you are rarely alone. Even simple things like getting dressed or using the bathroom often needed help from someone. I know they were just doing their job, but it is not easy to accept help with things you have done on your own your entire life. I remember my first week struggling with the idea that I had to ask for permission to do things I once did without thinking. Want to take a shower? You might have to wait until someone is free to help. Need to use the bathroom? Sometimes pressing the call button means waiting longer than you want. Even meal options were limited. If you do not like what is on the menu that day, well, too bad. Then there was the problem of roommates. Not everyone gets a private room. Sharing a space with someone you did not choose can be frustrating. I was lucky to have a kind roommate, but I heard stories from others who were not so lucky. Some had roommates who were loud, untidy, or had cognitive problems that made sleeping almost impossible. No matter how much you try to make your room feel like home, it never really is yours. Losing dignity is hard, and I did not realize how much of mine I would have to give up until I was already there. When people knock but do not always wait for an answer before coming in. When you are spoken to like a patient instead of a person. And when your daily routine is controlled by a schedule you did not make, it changes you. You start to feel less like yourself and more like just another name on a list. If you are thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready to give up the privacy and control you have had your whole life? Because once it is gone, it is hard to get back. Regret number 6, realizing it is harder to leave than you expect. When I first moved into the nursing home, I told myself it was just temporary. I thought I would try it out, see how things went, and if I did not like it, I could always leave. But what I did not understand was how difficult it would be to get out once I was inside. At first it seemed simple. If I did not like it, I would just go back home. But home was not the same anymore. My house sat empty, and managing it from far away became tough. My children had already started making decisions, selling things they thought I would not need, and even thinking about renting the place out. When I mentioned going back, they hesitated. Are you sure you can handle it alone? Would it not be safer to stay? We only want what is best for you. Then there was the problem of my physical decline. After months in a place where I did not have to cook, clean, or walk far, I was not as strong as before. The independence I once had began to fade, making the idea of moving back home harder than I ever thought. I was not confident in my ability to live alone, and that fear kept me stuck. I met others who had similar experiences. They thought they would try the nursing home for a little while, only to find that leaving was not as easy as they imagined. The longer you stay, the harder it is to adjust to life outside. Some even lost the chance completely once their home was sold or their savings were used up paying for care. There was no going back. That is the part nobody tells you. Moving in feels like a choice you can change, but for most people, it is not. The nursing home slowly becomes your whole world, and before you realize it, the outside life you once had feels like a distant memory. If you are thinking about a nursing home, ask yourself, are you ready for that possibility? Once you move in, leaving may not be as easy as you think because after you settle, the barriers to leaving, whether financial, physical, or emotional, can be tougher to overcome than you expect. If you are still watching this video and find these insights helpful, please comment number 6 below to let me know you are here. And if you have not subscribed yet, I suggest you subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss any videos. Your support helps us keep creating good content to inform and inspire you. Final thoughts. Looking back, I do not regret getting older, but I do regret thinking a nursing home was my only choice. I walked in expecting comfort, safety, and a better quality of life. What I found instead was a place that slowly took away my independence, my privacy, my purpose, and even my sense of who I am. Does that mean nursing homes are all bad? Not really. Some people truly need the level of care they offer. But before you decide, think carefully about what you are giving up, because once you move in, life will never be the same. If I could do it again, I would have fought harder to stay. In my own home, looked for more ways to get help without losing my freedom, and made sure I really needed to be there before making such a permanent choice. If you are facing this decision, I hope you take time to ask yourself, is this truly best for me or just the easiest option right now? Because the life you have today, your routines, your independence, your choices, is worth holding on to as long as possible. Thank you for joining us today. We would love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts matter to us, so do not hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue making good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.